Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, I want to explain about my lesson plan. Name of teacher Raudatul jannah SPD. Name of school Junior School 10 10 lulus selamat tengah. Subject English. Grade age topic I'm so happy for you. Test types short functional text. Skill writing and speaking. And time allocation 15 minutes. The next core competence. The core competence has been determined by the government. K1, the religion. K2, about the social. K3, about the knowledge. And Q4, about skill. The next basic competence and indicator of competence achievement. Number 1, basic competence 3.5 to compare social function, structure, and linguistic element of some special text in the form of greeting card with giving and requesting information related to special days according to the context of its use. Indicator of competence achievement uh, 3.5.1 to analyze information of short functional text about greeting cards, and then 3.5.2 to describe information of short functional text about greeting card. The number second basic competence 4.5 to complete social text in the form of greeting card, very short, function and simple, which involve the act of asking, inviting, is asking for permission, and responding to it by paying attention to social function, text structure, and linguistic element correctly and in context. 4.5.1 to create a short functional text about greeting card that is good and interesting. And then 4.5.2 to perform their short functional text about greeting card, very short and simple with text structure and linguistic element correctly and in context. The next learning objective in the end of class. Number 1, the student will be able to identify short functional text about greeting card that are simple of special days. And number 2, the student will be able to use short functional text about greeting card in their text, both written and or with the good text structure. And 3, the student will be able to make a greeting card of their own word. Attitude values focus. Number 1, religious. Number 2, honesty. Number 3, integrity. Number 4, creative. Learning material. Number 1, regular learning material. Number 1, fact, starting, responding, expective or ineffective. Concept, social function, and a short functional text about a greeting card is very short and simple. The next principle, generic structure, purpose, to state to someone, and then name of the text, congratulations to birthday, dominant language features, praise, congratulations, well done, good job, and others. Speech, word preserved, intonation, spelling, punctuational, and handwriting. And procedure write short functional text about greeting card. Number 2, learning material for remedial. A short functional text about greeting card will and give individual guidance. And then number 3, learning material for entrainment. The social function, generic structure, and language features and short functional text in form of greeting card, both writing and oral. Learning method. Number 1, approach, scientific approach, and number 2, learning model, CLT, or communicative language teaching. a learning media. Number 2, poster. Number 3, laptop. And number 4, textbook. The learning search. Number 1, Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan. 2017, buku siswa mata pelajaran bahasa Inggris kelas 8 Jakarta, Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan. Number 1, poster www.canva.com. Number 3, internet. The next, teaching and learning activity. The opening activity, the time 2 minutes, the teacher, orientation, and perception, motivation, and giving references. The next main activity, the time 12 minutes, the learning model syntax stimulation, teaching and learning activities, literation activities. Students are given motivation or stimulation to focus attention on topic by doing some way, viewing without or with thoughts, display relevant picture or photos or videos. Observing, showing poster from short functional text about greeting card as an example. Reading in their own home before the teaching learning activities. Students are asked to read material from textbook or other supporting books from the internet or related material, and share functional text in form of greeting cards. Listening, students are asked to listen to the material given by the teacher which is related to the shared functional text in front of greeting card on chapter 5, page 16-17. Create simple greeting card, the problem statement, question or problem identification. Critical thinking, the teacher gives students the opportunity to identify as many questions as possible related to the greeting card and will be able answered through their activities. For example, asking the question about what is greeting card, what is the greeting card for, which is not understood from what is observed. A question to get additional information about what is observed, starting from factual question to hypothetical question that develop creativity, curiosity, the ability to formulate questions to form critical thought that need to life-smality and lifelong learning. For example, does a greeting card mean? The purpose of the greeting card, step 2, making a good greeting card. And then, that collection, collaboration, and critical thinking. The reading other sources besides textbook. Students are asked to explore their knowledge by reading reference book about how to make structured greeting card that is good, interesting, and simple. They are presenting activities. Learner to do following activities. The student work in pair to analyze the greeting card for several conditions, and the student discuss it with other friends and exchange information about how to make a good greeting card. Data processing, critical thinking. Students in their group discuss processing the observational data in a way, discussing about the data, how to identify structure of short functional text about greeting card, and then how to describe short functional text about greeting card according to the structure, and then how to make simple greeting cards that are interesting and simple. That have been called or summarized in the previous activities. The processing information that has been called from the result of previous activities or meetings, as well as the result of the surfacing activities and the activity of gathering information that is ongoing with the help of question on the worksheet. The student doing their perform in making a greeting card. Verification, critical thinking. The learners discuss the result of their observation and vary the result of their observation with data or theory in the search book through activities, adding breadth and depth to process information that is looking for solution from various sources that have different opinions to the food honesty, consent, discipline of being the rules, hard work, the ability to apply procedures, and the ability of inductive and deductive thinking, improving present in front of class there about their own greeting card. The generalization communication communications to the are discussed to summaries deliver the result discussion in form of conclusion based on the result of the analysis verbal in writing or other media to develop an attitude of empathy, conscientiousness, tolerance, ability to think systematical, express polity. Present the result of the classical group discussion about greeting cards that are interesting and simple. Expressing of presentation made in response to by the group presenting. As about the presentation and other students are given the opportunity to answer them. Summarize the important point that emerge in the new learning activities called out in form of a written observation report about greeting cards that are interesting and simple. And then the closing activity. The time 1 minute. The student making summary activity with the guidance of the teacher about the important point that emerge in the new learning activities called out schooling homework school schedule project that must be studied at the next meeting outside school hour or at home. The teacher checking student work complete immediately. Student will help complete the project correctly and until and given and ranking number of the project assessment. Give award to group that have good perform and collaboration. The next assessment remedial and enrichment. Number 1 assessment technique. The effective spiritual and social. The observation journal. Observation assessment is based on observing the attitude and behavior of students, but related to the learning process and in general, direct observation made by the teacher. The following are examples of attitude assessment instrument. The student names Kartini as a behavior aspect, the religious 75 and honesty 75 and integrity 50 and creative 75. Total score 275. Effective score 68,75. Scorecard say not are religious, age, honesty, integrity, say the creatives. Say creative. Not number 1 aspect of behavior judged by the criteria. 100 excellent, 75 good, and 50 adequate, and then 25 poor. Number 2, maximal score, the number of attitudes assessed in multiplied by the number of criteria. Number 3, effective score, the total score divided by number of attitude as assessed. Number 4, scorecard or predicate, the cognitive, written tests, and psychomotor perform this learning process. The student are able to write down the short functional text about greeting card. Okay, the next. This is rubric rating assessment. Full score 100. The next. This is rubric speaking assessment. The full score 99,9. Knowledge by Headmaster Yuliadi SPD and teacher Raudatul SPD. Okay, I think enough for explain about my lesson plan. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.